Hi there, and happy Friday. I am super excited today. This is Kelli Christina from Dallas, Texas, and we are talking to, and I had the honor to interview a true leader in Texas, Chris Lee. Chris Lee has a lot of titles out there. He is a level up consultant, a public speaker, a business coach, he's a musician, and he's also a best-selling author of Less is the New More. Hello, Chris. How are you?
I am great, Kelly. Thanks for having me. It's so great to be here with you.
Well, thank you. And you've been a beautiful connection, and I'm super excited to share our interview today with our viewers. And I was wondering, maybe we could start with the simple, like, Chris, tell me a little bit about your background.
Sure. I actually got my start in artificial intelligence and robotics, which sounds pretty nerdy, but it actually paid off later on, became important. I was working in corporate and doing productivity with team management and also doing sales presentations. So early on, I was getting exposed to psychological factors involved with working with people. And the other thing I was seeing is that over time we were working harder and harder, and seems like we were doing a lot of things but not getting as much done, and people were getting burnout. And I'd studied the classical productivity gurus, but I felt like it wasn't working. Something was wrong, and there had to be a better way. So that's when I started going down the road and doing the research that led to writing my book.
Ah, you got you already got me on your book, and I certainly love the philosophy before you even get started. So, Chris, tell us a little bit more about that best-selling "Less is the New More" book.
Be glad to. So the it's about productivity, but the theme is, like the name implies, how to do less work but actually get more done of the things that really matter. And I drew from my own experience, my own research, and also drew from some of the newer or more innovative productivity people like Tim Ferriss, the author of the 4 Hour Work Week, and now he's got like an uber famous podcast. And also like Gary Keller from who was famous for starting the Keller Williams real estate empire. And he has a principle called the one thing. So we're all about focusing, focusing on what you're doing less multitasking. So we all preach about that. But there's also a bit of a brain science here and there that backs it. For example, I won't go into a lot of techie speak, but there's something in our brains called the default mode network, and that becomes relevant. That's when you're in kind of downtime, and it's not just important because you need to take a break once in a while, but it's really important for doing your creative and some of your most powerful work. So if you do this stuff right, you not only get more done, but you can actually improve your quality of life because you learn to really focus and schedule your time to have things like downtime, and it kind of feeds back on itself and makes everything better.
Okay, and I think I mentioned, and it's not your book, so, but part of KD Staffing's mission statement is a less is more with the clients. So
Yeah.
I really admire you for that book. And so,
Thank you.
next question up. I know that you're a business consultant, Chris, and I was wondering, so what type of business consulting do you like to do?
Sure. So I am the level up consultant. So when people feel like they're meant to do something bigger or make more of an impact, but they're feeling stuck and don't know how to get there or to even take the first step. So I help entrepreneurs get unstuck from where they are and level up to their new performance or improve their business and their game. So one thing I was seeing is, so my less is more kind of research is really just, a kind of a first phase, if you will. I was really starting to understand how important mindset and the inner game was. And a lot of people throw around that term these days. They misuse it, and they just think it's some positive motivation, like some internet meme you post on on social media. But I'm talking about the inner game and the deep work. So when I'm working with my one-on-one clients, it's important for me to, what I do is I sit down with you and we work through any blocking beliefs or limiting beliefs that you have. And everybody has them no matter what level they're at. And also make sure you have a clear vision and you're doing something that's aligned with who you are and not what other people think you should do, right? So that's where I love to work and where I love seeing the change in your performance, in your mindset, and in how you live your life and do your work.
I love that you work with those entrepreneurs and those business owners out there. And so I wanted to ask you a little bit on your career. Chris, I think that you started with a corporate background and then you moved into more of a mindset coaching type role. And so, did anything happen in life? How did you come across or make this decision to change over in your career?
Yeah, and I still help with business, but I've shifted from the corporate kind of world to, I really like helping the individuals with their inner stuff and mindset. So there actually was an event in 2008. My mother contracted a rare brain disease. It sounds like something crazy out of a movie, and she passed away pretty quickly, which we were grateful for, all things considered. But I mean, she had an incredible work ethic. She worked hard all her life. And at the time, she was, just as sharp as you and I, and in great shape. And she could have lived another 30 years potentially, but she didn't. And so, like many of us, hard workers, we tend to, sacrifice things and put off things that we want to do, right? And she did the same. So, she wanted to do more traveling and seeing the world. Well, all of a sudden, she was gone and she never got to do any of that. So that was a huge wake up call for me because, I was going down the same path. And I decided right there that I was going to, still working, but I wanted to do a little differently. And I wanted to, stop putting off passions I wanted to pursue, like writing a book. And also, I started to pursue my musical interests on the side.
Chris, I'm sorry to hear about your mom. And
Thank you.
yeah, very sorry. And I get it, changing paths in career. I think I've mentioned to you in the past that I loved my corporate background too. But later in my career, I love having a small company and team myself. It's just a different model. It does allow you to wear lots of hats out there. And that was going to be my next question to you. I know you're a musician and you wear a lot of hats. So let's talk about your music career.
Thank you. And to clarify, I talk about focus, but I believe that our lives, especially these days, can be, multi chapters. We can do many things. I just, advise a lot of people to focus on, doing and conquering, one thing at a time. But you can do whatever you want, right? So yeah, so when I was younger, when I was a young man, I was pretty good at playing guitar. But then I, got into my job in corporate world, and the guitar, sat there in the corner for years doing nothing. And so when my mom passed, it was a big wake up call. So I said, okay. So I started picking it up and playing again, and I started writing music. And then I said, well, maybe I can sing this stuff. So I started writing and ultimately produced and released my own CD of my own original music, which was very powerful for me. It was a good accomplishment. But then I really made a decision to stretch outside my comfort zone and say, well, maybe I can try singing and performing on local stages, right? So this all stuff all kind of relates. So I was using my focus techniques to get my book done and to work on my music while I was still working full time, because you got to pay the bills, right? And being a starving music
Yes.
artist is not always the way to pay bills. But so I was able to get that stuff done and finish it. And sometimes people who work in these things, I mean, you finish novels, right? You can do that, but some people can never finish it, right? They'll take years and do pieces and can't seem to make it happen. So the productivity aspects let me do that. So I was using my own techniques, and also perfecting my inner work, working on my own mindsets, like getting past my beliefs of what I could do or not with music, and like dealing with stage fright, because it's a real thing.
Yeah.
Anybody who's been up there can tell you, or even sometimes on things like this or speaking in front of an audience, it's a very real thing. And your mind and body do all kinds of crazy things once you get up there. So yeah, doing that, working on that inner game too. So I would use these things, my techniques, on myself as well as like you do with other people.
I love that. I love that you wear so many hats and you're a musician on top of all your coaching and your book writing. I would have
Thank
to
you.
share a little bit of stage fright when you're first
Please do.
public speaking. When you're public speaking and you're getting on the stage, you're like, wait a minute, what am I doing? you know?
Yeah.
And so, Chris, just share with me a little bit. So, how's the last 19 months, the pandemic year, how has that affected you personally?
Oh, this little pandemic thing. Yeah. Uh, seriously, nobody knew what this was going to look like, and we can agree that everybody was impacted in some way. Of course, the people who actually lost their jobs are small businesses, but all kinds of other people. And for as an example, you mentioned public speaking. Public speaking and networking went to zero like right away. So all the public
Yes,
things were canceled, right? So
all the things
and
you
that
learned
was
to be
part of it.
grateful for. Sorry, I didn't mean to
Yeah,
interrupt.
yeah.
Be
Or things you
grateful.
might have complained about, and now it's like, no, I wish I'll never complain about that again.
Or we took
Uh,
them for granted. We took them for granted. Go ahead, Chris.
yeah. So so these are part of our marketing methods, right? For myself and other consultants and coaches. So and people were really hesitant to. You probably felt the impact, in business. Were hesitant to spend money, just in all the uncertainty, even if their businesses were still operating. So I had to do some things. I found some virtual events, not too many, because I do like in person as well,
Mm.
and people were deluged with all these virtual things, right? And then I also was reaching out to my tribe, what I like to call my wolf pack, and my clients and my associates and so forth. And because I could feel that they were suffering, and so trying to help them with their mental and spiritual situation. And frankly, it was kind of exhausting for me to do that, but I thought it was important, and I really wanted to help people out. So use my positivity powers for good, right? And kind of help people through those times.
You do have a very positive spirit. I'll give you that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can tell. And so, let's go just a little further and talk about. So, what are you doing in 2021, moving past last year? And I do understand you've got a mastermind group, and I'd love to hear a little bit more details.
Sure, and thanks for reminding me. So coming out of, now we're rolling out of this. I mean, places are in different lockdown states. We're fairly lucky in Texas, I guess, because we're rebels. But
Right.
I've been, yeah. So I took
Texas
the
is a little
time to,
rebellious. Go ahead.
no, sorry, yeah. So I took the time to regroup a little bit and retool my marketing efforts because people are they're tired in general, right? Tired of the isolation, but also getting all the onslaught of marketing and being cold called, whether it's on the phone or in your face ads on social media.
Mhm.
So that's not really, what I want to do. So I've been sort of preparing for, when we're rolling out of this and thinking about, still connecting in organic ways, with integrity. So I'm not that guy pitching you in your DMs on LinkedIn or whatever, right? I want to make good connections. So, and that'll include doing collaborations, like this, hopefully, and more. So, really trying to do some good organic networking, coming out of this. And then also, I decided to start that group. So, a mastermind is usually kind of a high powered thing that
Mhm.
a big guru might do. But I decided to, I wanted to do this to kind of give back and help, small business people coming out of the pandemic because, they're all in a similar shape. It's like, how do I roll out of this? What do I do? So it's meant to, and I decided to do it for free. Um, but I still wanted to have value. So it's not like a standard networking group where you just go there and you exchange your business cards and then you try to get referrals out of everybody. No, this is meant to be support and accountability and help people, get their business back on track or grow out of the pandemic. And you're just kind of starting, and it's a small, tight knit group, where we're all already getting some more interest. So that's cool. And so see how big this gets. I kind of wish I could do it, more international too, because I know some people, um, overseas, but getting the time zones to work out is a bit of a
Get
challenge.
the
So
time
we'll see
zones,
how that
but
goes.
at least we have the
Yeah,
communication that we can go, from country to country. And
yeah.
bravo to everything that you're doing out there, Chris. And this is
Thank you.
actually it's a perfect time for mastermind and coaching and motivating, the entrepreneurs, the small business owners. Big bravo. So just tell me a little bit more. So what's up next for you, Chris? And then, by the way, how do we get a hold of you?
Excuse me. What was the last one?
How do we the last one is pretty easy. How do we contact you? Can you hear me?
Oh, okay. No, you just sort of broke up there. Uh,
Okay.
so you can. So we'll do that one first before I forget. So you can contact me. So I am that Chris Lee, like everywhere that I happen to be on. So ThatChrislee. And so thatchrislee.com, you can go to my website, and there should be some buttons there you can click, or just you can DM me on LinkedIn or Instagram. That's cool too. And then we can have a conversation, or see what you're up to. So what I'm doing now is I so some of the new things I'll be doing is I will be launching a premium group program later this year. And I kind of held off on that because the one-on-one personal touch is important to me. I'd like to work with people on their inner thing, and I found some of the group programs are a little noisy and less personal. But I believe I have a format that will be good, and help me still have the one-on-one connection, but bring in some group dynamics, because sometimes it's good, like I'm doing with my free group, is to have the interaction among other people. But this one will be more like my program, premium stuff, and and I'm hoping that so it should be good. Let me scale a bit, but also still keep a quality work with my people. So yeah, that's the new thing. And I talk about focus, right? You know that, and I talked about it here. But I also always have my next level up things on my roadmap. So I want to do that next, and then I would like to over time work more with like industry leaders and execs, right? To continue to evolve that process. Work with powerful people, and then I got some other ideas for down the line. So I'll always have something there to think about to do next. You made a similar comment to me recently about how you always have projects that are like could be years out, and maybe you won't be now. But it's important to like kind of have those right on your roadmap. So I think that's really cool.
Or make a long list and then decide what do you really have to do and what is it, like, we're very similar in personalities. You wear a lot of hats and so do I. And if I didn't have my projects, if I didn't have my books, if I didn't have trying to make a difference, KD staffing, I don't know what I would do, Chris. And I just want to
Yeah.
wish you best of luck with your mastermind, your book, your music career, and your life. And thank you so much for taking the time with me today, Chris.
Thank you. I loved it. Thank you so much for having me. And I wish you, of course, we'll be talking, but I wish you well in
We'll
all
be
of your future
talking very
endeavors too.
soon. Bye, Chris.
Yeah. Bye.